So they'll be calling you a radical. So you knew it'd come down to a 62-year-old being a mall walker, mall walking, the nuclear industry shit talking, the nuclear industry gang stalking, the nuclear industry. There's no birds flocking. Eek. So let's talk about this in Minnesota. They reported 114 days after the fact. So here in Utah, Governor Cox is the worst governor in the history of the state. He's a pro-nuclear. Now, who would believe me? He's a hard pro-nuclear. Now, Governor Batt, the old Republican from Idaho, Cecil Andrews, the incredible Democrat from Idaho, both fierce anti-nuclears who just went after INL for years, Idaho National Lab. Get your nuclear waste out of our state. Sued him, got him kicked out. But Obama and Trump, the nuclear twins, and the triplets. Well, Biden opened the door and let it back in. So in Utah, Scott Matheson, even Levitt, even Dirty Herbie, these guys were pseudo de facto anti-nukers. Governor Cox. So how do we go from Scott Matheson to Cox? How do we go from Cecil Andrews and Governor Pat to Brad Little, Crapo, Mike Lee? Mike Lee and Cox grew up in Southern. They know what Mike Lee to my face. Or we just found out my dad was a downwinder. Oh, you're not, Mike? This is a guy who got caught sneaking Italian waste in Energy Solutions. So it gets reported this week. Yep, Governor Cox been sneaking in European waste to southern Utah, but they won't report it right here in Salt Lake. Well, right here where I live, 60 miles where the crow flies. Energy Solutions, Kevin Lynch has to do that dirty work. The only video you'll find of the hot reactor from San Onofre. And by the way, you don't think San Onofre's reactor's hot? You're a fool. They had an accident. I've tried to tell Cox this to his face. You had an accident. Look it up on the NRC's website. Oh, it's only ranked at 3. The skill only goes to 7. They opened the valve, or it would have blew up over all those San Clemente. But by the way, so you know, just so you know, San Onofre is in San Diego County, not Orange. And so, it's the greatest accomplishment in grassroots activist history, getting that shut down. So, I'm the only guy, not Channel 2, not KSL, not any of this media. Remember when KSL used to be media? You ever seen that famous photo of the Dugway sheep? What happened to those type of guys? They went with wagon wheel, So, gone. So, Cox is bringing in nuclear. So the nuclear that's coming from San Onofre turned out it's hot because they had the accident on. I was in the bone marrow transplant at LDS, going out of a coma that night. I'm the guy that reported that to the world, the so-called cheating accident. They lied about that one, didn't they? Are they lying in Minnesota? Well, are their keyboards moving? Are their lips moving, the NRC? And the NRC is none but the nuclear rally cheerleaders. And I can prove this. I now go back to Utah. New scale from hell. By the way, all you guys are arguing, this is a great trade. It IPO'd at $10. The Fed supports like no other on IPOs to support the IPO price. The IPO price, it's trading in the 8s. Jose Reyes, yay. Little SMRs, Utah. The only revenue stream they have is from Utah ratepayers. You're paying a utility bill, which we all are. It comes right out of your bill for amps, which was supposed to be for solar and wind. The answer's always been the sun. The answer has always been the sun. We have the sun. That's what it's always been. It's all we need. But no money in harnessing the sun. Nuclear, SMR, fairy tales, unicorn, Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, reactors. There was no such thing. So I'm at the Bear River Massacre, January. I usually go every year. Didn't go there this year. I was going to have an open heart surgery for the second time. So for the first time, and I've been going to that event since I was a little kid. No Utah representatives there. Governor-elect, he wasn't elect yet. Cox and Jose Reyes, the Attorney General. So Cox, in his speech, and I recorded it, says the reason the state of Utah is here for the first time is because this was Utah territory. I'm like, after I'm like, why are you on your ignorance in public? I walk right up to him. You go ask him. He knows me good. He says, well, what do you mean? I says, this was never Utah territory. This is Washington territory. That's not what we were told. I said, told. I thought you were running for governor. I thought those were called leaders. So he's aired his ignorance to me so many times, it's unbelievable. He's the worst governor we ever had. And so he won with what, 30-some% of the vote in the Republican primary. Huntsman used to be an anti-nuclear, but he's got on the winning team. And so I go talk to Sean Reyes. I says, everybody's saying that you're related to Jose Reyes. He's the CEO of Newsco. I'm not related to him. Now, Sean Reyes is related to the ex-prime minister and the president in the Philippines. How did he become our? He's not born here. Really hasn't had a lot to do here. So he says, I'm not related to him. What about these SMRs right over the hill here at Idaho National Lab that Utah's funding? What about this? Gotta tell you, I don't know what those are. The biggest crime ever perpetrated on the Utah taxpayer in history, or the ratepayer. Biggest sham. I caught him dead red, lobbying under the stairs. Why session? That's illegal. Unless you're the Untouchables, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. Go ask them in Ohio. You know, they go after them in Ohio. Household are guilty. What about the bribers? They won't go after them. They're the Untouchables. So then he turns around. It's on video. It's on YouTube. He turns around and comes right back. I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not related to that. Okay. And, you know, I don't think he's a bad guy. I really, every time I talk to him, he's kind of like him, but he's on the winning team, and he's not going to go after anybody and do anything. And so that's the Utah way. That's the American way. Another bank bailout. GA, $100 per man, woman, and child just got kicked out. Oh, it was just to the shareholders, and we loaned it to them, like the PPP loans. Yeah, like anybody's going to pay those back. So, same old. Sliding with Biden. So, we have these pro-nukers. How did that happen? In a state like Utah that was so anti-nuclear, how did that happen? We become these incredible pro-nukers. After we had these incredible Scott Madsen died. What I have, AML. I'm so Utah that I spent 5 years in the bone marrow transplant at LDS. Radioactive. I'm running out of freaking bracelets, room for bracelets for emergency responders. I got a pacemaker now. I've got a replaced aortic valve the second time. They screwed up the first time. Of course, I'm an AML leukemia survivor. Ooh, I'm running out of place to put medical alert bracelets. I've tried to one over my forehead. So anyway, my heart's in tremendous. I'm in tremendous shape. It's a birth defect. My father, nuclear at the Nevada test site. We used to be anti-nuclears in the state. We don't make any of it. We're the toilet. Utah, the toilet. Idaho, same thing. The toilet. So we go from these incredible historic anti-nuclears, Republican and Democrat, to pro-nuclears, Republican and Democrat. And by the way, nuclear energy is not green. It's the opposite. It's not renewable. It's the opposite of renewable. Germany has it right. Angela Merkel was a nuclear physicist. She knew. Austria has it right. Freedom Eisenhower. I was at her house on the 200th anniversary of Waterloo. Kevin Blanche, she's the one that requested it. The greatest anti-nuclear in history, her. And the problem is we have all these half-nuclears. That's her words. She went off on them all, the ones in the United States. She went off on Helen, Arnie. She just went ripped them. And all of them. Buzzy. Oh boy. And so the half nukers are the problem. So the media here at KSL from hell will run right to the half nukers. Yay, yay. Well, we're not against the technology, but we don't like the bomb. Which came first, the nuclear chicken or the egg? The half nukers are the problem. It's controlled opposition. You know, that's exactly what it is. And so they run to the half nukers. Now, I will quote, because I knew Megan Rice personally, and Plowshares as notorious half nukers were. She says, I was at the potluck the night before sentencing. I was at sentencing when Megan Rice gave maybe the greatest speech in history. She goes off and says, Timothy, the prosecutor, I'm sitting right across from her with Mary Evelyn Tucker holding one of my hands, and the other hand is the first ordained Roman Catholic female priest is holding the other hand. By the way, I helped write the questions the night before, or the answers to the questions on the Kansas City 12. The judge let him go. So Sister Snow, the hierarchy, she's there. I'm like, you guys probably hate me. You guys are probably so mad at me because I go off on nuclear energy. You guys are, she says, no. You straightened us out, Kevin Blanche. I think you were sent by God. So, that's very nice to me. I talked to Megan right before. I remember I was at the Peace Vigil at the White House, and they keep looking at me. They're doing their protest. I just kind of stand there and I walk over. Can I get a picture with you, ladies? Yeah. And she just kept looking. It's Megan Rice. I didn't say nothing. And then she started to cry. And she walks up. She says, oh my God, Kevin Blanche. Thank you. Remember I went to her prison cell in the courtroom. Timothy. By the way, Barack Obama was harder on whistleblowers than anyone. Of course, so Trump, really hard. Biden's hard. I mean, Kevin Blanche, the whistleblower. Where am I supposed to go? KSL, KUTV, my local newspaper, the Alton Chandler Examiner. Where am I supposed to go? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter? Because whistleblowers are now hate speech. Don't tell the truth. Because Google and YouTube, they know everything. Just ask them, including where the demic came from. Okay. So, Megan Rice. Timothy is the prosecutor. She gives one of the greatest speeches in history. I'm sitting right there. By the way, single file getting in a P. Seeger died that day. She says, Timothy, thank you for putting an 85-year-old nun in prison, a peace activist who doesn't have a violent bone in her body. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for putting me in a prison cell. Thank you, Obama, and for putting me in a prison cell that in a holding facility that was built to hold for 2 to 3 weeks for nearly 3 years and turning down the temperature to 50 degrees, which nearly killed me. I want to thank you for that, Timothy. And he's like, what do you mean? She says, for when I get out, I have something else to protest. Radioactive, radioactive. All systems go. So the half nukers. So Utah, how do we go from Governor Batt, who just passed away, 96 years old, Cecil Andrews passed away. I was in Italy fighting the nuclear waste from Italy was coming here. They've shut those 5 reactors down. They put it to a vote. Look what the mob did when G rolled back in, Westinghouse rolled back in. Just look up who handled that. Just look up the vote in Italy to restart those 5 reactors. 95-5. Not to shut, so the propaganda is the people of the grassroots. It's just like Spain yesterday comes out. Just rips nuclear. Oh no. Remember when the plane crashed there? So Utah, the famous anti-nukers, the Dugway sheep photograph. How did we go from that to pro-nukers? How did we get pro-nuclear politicians? Mike Lee to Kevin Blanch's face. Well, Mike, anyways, just first I prepped him. That's important to understand that I prepped him for that interview. He knew what was coming because I don't like playing I got you. So, we just found out my dad was a downwinder. Okay, he died young of cancer. So, Yet this is the guy bringing in nuclear waste into the energy solutions illegally, which I caught. That's where I was at when Fukushima melted down. March Madness, talk about March Madness. By the way, how about that 16 seed knocking over a 1? Whoa, whoa, nice. Incredible. Greatest upset in NCAA basketball history. Yeah. So here we get these pro nukers. Mike Lee, I'll get right back to you, Kevin. Took all my information, whatever. The next day, he's holding up Teddy Cruz on the House floor, giving his Philip. I mean, what? Never got back to me. Avoids me like the plague. They all avoid me like, because I'm not a half nuker. I'm not a half nuker. So, how did we become? I'm going to name this the Mile Walkers Nuclear Energy Shit Talkers. Mile Walkers Energy Nuclear Shit Talkers. There's no bird flocking. The nuclear energy who comes after me, gang stalkers. Podcast with Kevin Blanche. So how did Utah, Idaho become these pro-nuclear politicians when we were the fiercest anti-nuclears ever? You know, the steelhead. I grew up fishing on the salmon. Gone. This collapse and everybody's going to chalk it up to coincidence. And Governor Cox gets in bed with Bill Gates, who stole the operating system here. Fair and Triangle. He stole it. Word perfect in Novell. You know, word perfect shift F13. We had a trial here in 2011. I was up the hill. Find a penny, pick it up. All day you'll have good luck. I would protest, but I was in the bone marrow transplant center up at the top of the hill. Though they was clinging to life. Too sick for a transplant. Walked the whole coast. Did all the tadpole work. Historic work. You know, what's left? A few crabs. A few crabs. The great coincidence here, Fukushima. Yet nobody will even mention it here until, you know, nearly 4,400 days later. They mention it. You know, Fox 13, radioactive rice being made into low carbon plastic. For real. So, how do we go from all these famous anti-nukers in Utah and Idaho? We don't want your shit. That's downwinders, the original downwinders. Now we're all downwinders. Fukushima. Storms rise up. How about in San Diego right now? What's going on? Every day there's another sewer leak. There was one, well, in Southern California, Ventura County, another big one. Every day, and you do know, the pregnant well washes up dead. You do know the Carlsbad desal plant right there. You're getting your water, 15% of San Diego County, if your water's coming from the ocean. What are they filtering for? Tritium, iodine, cesium, plutonium, californium, livermorium, tennesseum, plutonium. So, how does this happen? Idaho National Lab, a lot. God used to be so dead. I'm friends with Blake. He and I grew up together. We grew up together. We went to Weber High School together. Last times at Weber High. He bought the Atomic City Bar. I used to know everything up there. It was dead or in hell. I know it was dead. Not now. Jennifer Graham Home and Rick Perry, the twins, talk about the anti. Whoa. We're going to make nuclear energy sexy again. Sexy. When was it sexy? You think it's so sexy, like when Kevin Blanche was sucked up to 119 pounds with blisters all over his tongues, no pigment eye. The color of my eyes were, went from blue to, it looked like the Great Salt Lake in the springtime. That grayish green, mostly gray. Sucked up to 119 pounds, blisters on my tongue, chemo burning through the top of my head, central line hanging out of my jugular. That's sexy. That no hair. I have scarring, burn marks up and down my legs. The split from my chest, torn open twice because of the nuclear energy. That's sexy. So in Minnesota, they wait 114 days to report it after the fact, which is against the law of the NRC. Which I go right at the NRC. The only one that ever asked the NRC to their face in a public hearing multiple times, Kevin Blanch on Fukushima. I asked, all of them, including the head of the NRC, Alice McFarland, who says these little SMRs are a sham. But get this, so the SMRs in Idaho National Lab, Trump appoints her to the head of the NRC. Guess where he chooses to work? Idaho National. Guess with who? Jose Reyes, the CEO of New Scale, the SMRs you talk. Do you think that? Do you think that there's a little collusion going on there? It's like the bank bailout. They always bail out the bank. So the bank bails out. All these banks, 300 billion ran to the Fed window. They bought. Okay. So there's being reports people that have 50 million, 30 million, 20 million, including Mark Cuban, in the collapsed Silicon Bank. The government only guarantees up to 250,000. Well, they build their bank accounts out. That's why the CEOs fly their planes to Hawaii to their resorts. It's imperialist banking. It's been going on since 2000. This whole nightmare that's happened since 2000. 9/11 to the calendar opposite 3/11. Fukushima and the cover. If they can cover up 3 full core meltdowns, spent fuel molecules blown all over, jet stream moves left to right, breaking news fish swimming. When they can cover up that, they can cover up anything. So Kevin Blanch, who would believe will become a mall walker at my age. Mall walking, nuclear industry shit talking, nuclear saying no bird flocking. Let's go see Home Alone, Kevin, Macaulay Culkin, nuclear industry trolling, gang stalking, Kevin Blanch. Well, I'm in critical condition, which are felonies and all. 50 but they're the untouchables. So don't believe them in Minnesota. And so Governor Cox is the worst governor in the history of the state. He gets caught bringing European nuclear waste into southern Utah on the res. Not even on the res over there. Low level. It's not low level at Energy Solutions, right? But no media will caught that. Look at the reactor. That reactor's hot. Coming in over the biggest truck ever built in the Western United States. There's only one video out there, footage. You're looking at him. And they kept that secret. I had to really work on that. I had to dance cops, rent cars, think everybody's just supporting this historic work. The fight goes on. I don't get really much any real funding. I get by with a little help from my friends, and barely, I don't know how my life. So, stay tuned as the fight goes on. Kevin Blanch, I'm not a half nuclear, the accomplished activist. I daggered Blue Castle here in Utah. That's an unarguable fact. I'm the one that exposed the whole fraud. I thought I had new scale, through the whole Kenwood thing. In the bone marrow trials over the central line hanging out of my jugular vein in those days. Walking through Memory Grove over to the state capitol. Governor Herbert at least would have a conversation with me, cordial. I talked to, not long before he got elected, to Governor Cox about the nuclear waste coming into Utah. He just danced, and then I talking about the SMR before he was governor. And right before, he didn't know what they were. Yet he signed a deal with Bill Gates, who stole the operating system here in Cameron, Wyoming. Oh, blaming on Russia. Of course they're going to blame. They get all this free money. It's called Price Anderson. Look it up. That's the Immunity Act Congress passed to promote nuclearism. Look up Jeff Bezos' grandfather. Jeff Bezos was born at Los Alamos. Livermore. Kamala Harris's mother was the epidemiologist at Livermore. Yeah, these nuclear labs. The DOE reports where the emic comes from. What? Megan Rice at Y25. They had a fire there recently. So, Minnesota. And by the way, Alex Jones going to report this now? Jeff Rentz? What Alex Jones and Jeff Rentz did to Kevin Blanch is downright criminal. They made hundreds of millions of dollars off my videos while I was doing all the work. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Putting my videos, my tide poolers, all my strike work, they would put it up. Did either one of them ever send me 5 cents? No, you can look it up. You can look it up. It's out. Mutually exclusive of each other twice. Kevin Blanch. People call in. 2 Alex Jones. Live on the air. Hey, why won't you have the world foremost Fukushima expert and activist in the world on your show, Kevin Blanch? Alex Jones. Well, Kevin Blanch is an activist. I did a video talking about the Million Mass March in comparison to Orange G. Oh, you can't say that. Just telling facts about how we organized the Million Mass March and the great work we did in D.C. in comparing and contrasting to, you wouldn't believe security on us. And YouTube took it down. Called it misinformation when I'm the guy that started it, telling it word for word, play by play, how it happened. I was there. I invented the Million Mass March, me and John Anthony Ferris and a small group of us, based on Fukushima. Danielle Willard, the young man that just got killed in Farmington. You see any media on that? And that one's as blatant as it gets. We tried. The Million Mass March had 7 million people. Aaron Swartz. But Obama, again, back to Megan Rice. I am Michael Hastings. I am Pat Tillman. Look what he did to freaking whistleblowers. Oh my God. I was in the courtroom. I came out of the bone marrow transplant, took a trip to New York, was in Brooklyn, that's the same time I went over to Megan Rice's jail cell. I'm the one that broke that news to where she was at. They kept it secret when they moved her. She got out on appeal. She recently passed. So I was in the courtroom. Heyman and Ortiz, 35 years for downloading a server. That's all he did. Nothing violent. He was not violent. MIT. He was on the campus at the same time as Sam I Am, the Bankman Fried Scam I Am. No, I won't. Not even on Tom Brady's boat, the GOAT. I won't. Not even on Stephon Curry and Klay Thompson's boat. I won't. Not even with Tom Brady. He ain't the GOAT. I will quote Joe Montana. If they had the same rules when I played, I'd play till I was 60 and 120, taking some bowl rings. LT's got it right. By the way, LT's hits on Joe Montana sent him to the hospital. Almost died. Yeah, that's what he played. So I won't. Not even on the GOAT. Not even on with the GOAT. I won't. He was on the campus at the same time. Aaron Swartz didn't do one thing violent. He never stole 5 cents. He was a whistleblower. Megan Rice, whistleblower. Pat Tillman, the ultimate whistleblower. Oh, they did to him. Still promoting the NFL. The NFL's a nonprofit. It's disgusting. Get your slave-made gear right here. Sports Image. They make that stuff. I told Damian Lillard right to his face. Right to his face. Aren't those little slaves in those bunkers' fingers getting a little tired making your gear? I have my retro gear on, but I buy old, made in the USA. I'm old school. I'm not participating in their slave made. I want that on my body. Shirtwaist fire on Balco. So, Sam I am. Crypto scam. So, this is what I'm going to tag this. Mal Walker, nuclear industry shit talkers. Nuclear industry going after Kevin Blanch, gang stalkers. There ain't no bird flockers no more. They've all collapsed. Podcast with Kevin Blanche. How did Idaho and Utah, the fiercest anti-nukers, get your waste became the nuclear energy toilet? In Minnesota, the NRC reports the so-called 400-gallon leak. We protested the post-civilian army at that reactor many times, but look what I'm up against. Kevin Blanche. I'm not a half nuker. So I'm in all the way. All the way. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. I don't eat, sleep, drink it. Split me open, pour me out. I sleep with it because I did the unforgiven. Who knew at 6 years old would become a mall walker? Huh? Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? You know the historic work I've done on the tide pools? All the historic work on the salmon? It's coincidence, bro. Okay. So the nuclear industry, mall walking, nuclear industry, gang stock, which they did while I'm in critical condition. There were literally dozens of YouTube and Facebook sites literally with my name on 100%. We trace it down. We know who planted it. NEI, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. Price Anderson, the Immunity Act, Uska from Hell, unicorns in Utah, Easter Bunny, reactors, free money for decades when all we ever needed was the sun. All we ever needed was the sun. So, St. Patrick's Day, eh? Get your slave made gear. The NFL is not, the NBA is not a sports league. It's a sports merchandising company. That's all it is. March Madness ruined by the NCAA. You know, it's all ruined. You know, bankers bailed out again. It's imperialism in America. And the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, they do whatever they want. When are you going to learn that? Kevin Blanche reached into the bag and he slung the stone. In the name of Aaron Swartz. In the name of Megan Rice. In the name of I am Pat Tillman. In the name of Michael Hastings. In the name of Freedom Eisenblau. In the name of all these historic figures. In the name of Cecil Andrews. In the name of Governor Batt. In the name of the great Scott Madison. The rest of how did we do it? Idaho and Utah. The outhouse. We don't make it. We just store it all. We're the toilet. And everybody goes along. Well, where are they going to go? KSL. Nobody's going to. And they'll run to the half nukers. Yeah, it's okay, but I can't. They talk in the passive aggressive format. You can't talk aggressive like I used to and strong and bold and tell the truth. I can't do that anymore. They'll take down my videos. So let's chop this at 33. 33. Kevin Blanche, the 33rd soup can. Cream of chemo bis. Stay in tune.